Dan Illman, Mike Beer, two stakes races at Saratoga on Friday. We'll kick off a 50-cent pick four with race number 4. It's the Curlin. $135,000 is the purse. Let's take a look at this field. 3-year-olds going a mile and an eighth. A potential prep for the Travers, Mike, especially for a horse like the 3 Blazing Sevens, who just missed in the Preakness, is already a Grade 1 winner.
Yeah, true enough. I mean, I guess if he just runs back to his Preakness in this race, Dan, he's supposed to be really, really hard for this horse to beat. He ran pretty well in that race off a wide trip. He was also really close all the way around the track to a relatively slow pace, and that could be key to this Curlin.
Excellent point. As we transition to the Timeform US pace projector, you'll notice that gray bar on the top right of the pace projector, no speed. Timeform US believes that this race will be run at a crawl, and it's hard to argue. Scotland, the number 4, well, he rallied from 7th last time out going a one-turn mile. He can get to the front, I guess. Illman went gate to wire 2 starts back. I guess he could get to the front. I'm not sure who's going to the lead in this race, but whoever does has a bit of an edge.
I agree with you. I mean, I guess we could confidently say that it's not going to be the one going to the lead, although that horse showed some speed early in his career. He sort of turned into a closer recently. I don't know who's going to make the lead in here. It kind of feels like maybe Illman just because he's, both of his career wins have come wire to wire, but do we really care if he makes the lead in here?
Earlier in his career, the number 1 pulled hard in a lot of his races, but Shug McGahee has gotten him to relax in his last few starts, and that really helped him too back in the Federico Tessio at Laurel, a race where he had to weave his way through traffic and he just got up late. The Preakness was not run to suit him. Maybe he's not good enough to win a race like that, but there was no pace at all for him, and he needs something to run at.
I think that's probably a fair way to look at his Preakness. I mean, the race didn't set up for this horse at all. That being said, he also didn't really do any running. So whether you thought he was going to be around at the end of that race or not, I think you still had to be at least a little disappointed in his performance there, because this didn't really do anything. His prior 2 starts, though, they were both really good. We'll see what kind of a setup he can catch here.
I have a feeling we have yet to see the best from the number 2 Lost Ark, who won his first 2 starts last year, then ran in some tough graded stakes races, and it didn't work out at all. Todd Pletcher gave him a break, and he came back firing in the second level allowance at Monmouth last month. There was a solid pace. He stayed relatively close. He sweeps 4 wide, and he puts him to bed. He's a half-brother to Nest. He's a half-brother to Idol. Both of those horses wanted distance. Both of those horses got better with maturity.
That's very true. This was a good performance off the layoff here. It's not a very good field. And you can see sort of goofing around. It looks like a little bit here in the stretch, but it's an easy win. I thought he ran well there, stepping forward. This horse, I'm with you, Dan. I think there's a lot of upside here. I think there's a chance, maybe if it's not in this race, a couple races down the line, the light bulb really goes off for this horse. He was pretty good at 2, but when they tried those 2 grade 1s with him, he looked overmatched in those races. We'll see how much better he can get.
Blazing Sevens won his debut here at Saratoga last year, won the Grade 1 Champagne, 4th in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. He's done some very good work, obviously. Here's his race in the Preakness, and as Mike mentioned, he was wide chasing the slow pace set by the winner, National Treasure. He attacks him on the outside. He has the whole stretch to get by. They're going to exchange bumps in the lane, and he just couldn't get there. It was a good effort for Blazing Sevens. Do you think he wants a little bit shorter? He's going to get a little bit shorter in the Curlin and the Preakness, but do you think a mile and an eighth is even his best distance?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I thought maybe he didn't really want distance earlier on, but it's hard to make that argument now with the Preakness in the rearview mirror, because it's the best race he's ever run and it's the longest he's ever been. So I'm not going to think that the distance is too far for him anymore, Dan. He's got that one race off the layoff this year down at Gulfstream where he was terrible. Every one of his other races are pretty good. I don't think he's any kind of a superstar, but he took a step forward last time. Chad Brown has found a great spot for him here.
Like Blazing Sevens, the number 4 Scotland is by the good young sire Good Magic. Now, Scotland scored last time out at Churchill Downs in a one-turn mile. It was a race that had a very strong pace in front, and Scotland was able to run him down late. The 3rd place finisher came back around a 95 Beyer speed figure when running 3rd in the Iowa Derby. First time around 2 turns, lots of upside potential, good tactical speed. He's a potential upsetter, I guess.
I think he is. I mean, if you think that 2-1 is an upset, he's 2-1 on the morning line, Dan. And that was my only major issue with this horse. I don't think I would bet him at that price. There's not a lot of distance on the dam side of this pedigree, but he is by Good Magic, and they have been really good going longer. I think all 3 of his races are good. He's got the 2 wins where he came from well out of it with really nice runs through the stretch, but he actually ran well 2 starts back there, and he kept close to the pace that day. So that's a good sign for this horse. I think he's talented. I just don't think I'd bet him at the morning line.
I think Louis Saez is going to be aggressive with the 5 Illman, who's the longest shot on the morning line, and try to make the lead from the outside. It might be his best chance. He's run in several graded stakes races. He hasn't run very well. He was in the Belmont last time out. He was not that great in that race either. He might just simply be overmatched. This restricted race comes up like a graded one.
Yeah, I agree with all that stuff. It is maybe it's just a rider upgrade, and Saez will hustle this horse to the front, and that'll be all it takes. We've seen stranger things happen actually already at this meet, it seems like. But it's just one of those situations, Dan. Even if he makes the lead in here, and I get it, sometimes it's a big advantage. You still, even if you're on the lead in the race, you still have to be good enough to win. Is this horse good enough to win?
And we have to wonder how much upside. He's already run a ton of times. Yeah. Top pick time in the Curlin. Blazing Sevens is a deserving favorite. Obviously, he looks like the horse to beat. If he wins, it goes on to the Travers.
It seems just like a good spot for him, Dan. I'm not, that interested in this race for wagering purposes. I just thought he'd be tough in this race. I didn't want to pick against him because the other horse I was looking at is Scotland, and he's not a great price on the morning line.
Yeah, curious to see how Scotland and Lost Ark do. These might be 2 3-year-olds to follow in the fall and into maybe their 4-year-old campaigns. But I think Blazing Sevens right now is the horse to beat, and he looks that way on paper. He'll be our top pick in the Curlin, one of 2 stakes at the Spa on Friday. Good luck.